Awesome. Keep it up.
Hello and welcome one and all to the tight and twisty Hungarian. This track is an absolute assault on the senses of our drivers. It's often compared to Monaco in many ways, as this track requires laser focus and a very track specific setup to extract every last bit of grip that this track has to offer. Each corner leads beautifully into the next in almost perfect fluidity, and if executed correctly, the Hungarian becomes the perfect dance floor for a Formula One waltz. With that being said, I'm Tipsy Bob, and the man controlling of all our things that we see, all the things that we see, is the Mr. Chief himself.
Hello, yes, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not, judging by last week's calamity at the end of the race. But yeah, we are going to go to Hungary, and I couldn't have said it better, Bob. Hungary is indeed one of those tracks. Lots of drivers like this track, but it's not really a good track for overtaking. Start-finish straight is the only real place you can get that done unless the guy in front makes a mistake. But yeah, looking at the standings, you can see him on screen there. Desi is leading the way despite not... He hasn't actually won a race, but he is leading the championship, showing that consistency is key. Makander is trailing behind him. P2 with 55 points, Justin 54, Tuna 48, Tuna man, Danny 34 points, and Tino, who's joining us today, has missed a few races, on 25 points. Mercedes in the constructors 79 points, trailing by 6 points. Red Bull and Ferrari as well, tied with 73 points. So it's all to play for as we are going to head down to the session. The drivers are already getting out on track, so let's get to it.
And it's also, Chief, to mention that we have a new driver today, and he's another finish. In fact, we've got practically a whole finished lineup almost. It's, I would say, 90% finished, the finish takeover. But they're currently in my screen, P19 on his outlap. Now, me and Chief, we are well known for butchering these finish names. So, but this one is that Noah or no, yeah, Noah Likorpi. How is that say? I'm sure Nike will be in the chat. Let us know. But anyway, we've got a new driver in the Alpine, Chief.
Yep. I'm just going to call him Noah. I think that'll.
Noah.
I'll not even try that second name. That's probably going to get us taken off air if I try that. So who is out there on a lap at the minute? We've got a few guys have started a time lap. I'm going to join Meepo. Meepo looks like he has just started his lap, so we'll join on board for a lap of Hungary. And it's tier 1, so we're expecting some very fast times. I'm just thinking should have written down the tier 2 pull time, but I'm pretty sure it was I think it was a 16 if I remember correctly.
No, was it not a 14?
Oh yeah, you're right, 14. Yeah, 14's are the order of the day here in tier 1. Our gamer, funny enough, he did say that he didn't think the tier 2 pull time would be beaten in tier 1. So I'm very interested to see how that plays out, as Meepo just about navigates at McLaren without losing too much pace. Meepo is on the mediums, so he's opting to save maybe a set or two of the softs for the race. So maybe he's expecting a bit of safety car action.
Well, just to touch on what you were saying there about what our gamer was saying, that I think it was a 14, it was a low 14, I believe, and our gamer wasn't that far off it in P2. Now, saying that he doesn't think that time would get beat, that's a big statement, because you have some mega drivers here. Supermac, Adesi, Danny, to name a few. Justin could definitely do it. Of course, there is that Mr. Tino who sets blistering lap times. So I think if anyone could beat it, it definitely could. Definitely. That's 3 times I said definitely. There's 4 times. It could definitely be beaten in tier 1.
Oh, and look who has went number one there with a 15.6. So we're quite a way away from the 14s. But Meepo there with a tasty little lap on mediums, 15.6. Tenari goes P1. So these times are starting to tumble down, and we are heading towards those 14s. But I think it's all about the track evolution as well. I think this is one of those tracks where track evolution really does count a lot. It is a tight, twisty technical track. And yeah, you really can gain a lot if you push the limits, and we're starting to see that now as everybody's getting their first run out of the way. Also worth mentioning the dreaded turn 4. We'll try and join a driver as he hits that turn 4 section. But yeah, it's a blind left-hander. It's very high speed. And we're going to join Icewind on board. He's on an outlap, but he is heading down towards this dreaded turn 4. Yeah, first this little right-hander. This is going to be full speed, and you do need to lift a little bit, brake a little bit for this, but you can see it's a left-hander. You can't really see the apex until the last second, so it does catch a few people out, and that's where most of the track warnings come from. So if we do see some penalties today, it's probably going to come from those track invalidations right there.
Yeah, also one thing we forgot to mention is to ask the chat, which on my screen here is non-existent at the moment. What the levels are like, if everything's coming across all right, if the sound level is fine on mic and the game as well, give us a wee heads up. And also if some of the guys can let us know, just give us an update on what was that pole time in Tier 2. I believe it was a low 14 that Luke did. I know Gamer will be watching, he'll let us know as well. It was like a low 14, or a 14.4, 14, something like that. So yeah, if you can find that out, people, it would be very, very beneficial.
Yeah, we always like a bit of chat interaction, keeps us on our toes, and be reminded to hit that like button as well and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'm watching Adesi about to cross the line here, and he does put a pole for now, 15.1. Adesi has he's set a number of poles in Tier 1, but has not won a race yet. And I have a little bit of I did a wee bit of research. The race winners so far, Tunari won the first race in Australia. Danny took the win in Imola. Tino was Saudi Arabia. He got the pole and the win there. And Justin, of course, won last week's race in what was a very dramatic finale. So yeah, we've got four race winners. Are we going to see a fifth one today? And I think if anyone is going to be that guy on the top step who is not on that list, it has to be a Desi. He is a absolute pole specialist, a hot lap specialist, but for some reason in the race he just can't do it. But he does have the pace to win, and I think he is probably out there today wanting to prove a point.
All right, Chief, and we can always depend on Monbilut Kiko. He has let us know that it was a 14.7. I thought it was lower than that. So it was a 14.7 was pole time. I think that will, I'm going to risk it here. I think that will be beat today. If not equaled, it will certainly be equaled, if not beat.
Yeah, I would say so as well. This is Tier 1, the top of the pile, the cream of the crop. I'm watching Fox here. He's just hit that turn 4 section, so he's in Sector 2 right now. And we're going to see how he navigates this little chicane that comes up, quite a slow, twisty part. And then we've got the S's. Very easy to lose a car here, or you can run wide on the exit of this particular part. Pick up a track one in there, but Fox managed to keep it within limits. Again, another fast right-hander. Again, another place where you can pick up track warnings. And then it's just the final 2 corners in Sector 3 he has to navigate. And it's all about momentum, really, this track. Just carrying as much speed through the corners as you can. Especially these last 2, you really want to hook it up and get that kind of slingshot momentum, and as it fires you on to the straight, and it's a long way down to the start-finish line. And we're going to see Fox has already got a 15.5 on the board. Has not improved with that lap.
Yeah, I agree, Chief. I actually really like this track. I know, as you said earlier, not many people are a fan of it. I think it's because of the nature of overtaking is almost non-existent, but I just like these technical challenges whereby a mistake is like really unforgiving. But one person running on board here with Chief is Justin. He's on his lap at the moment, and he's just navigating around the first sector, and we'll get an idea shortly of how he's getting on. But he does have a bit of traffic ahead here. He's up by 2/10. That's quite a lot already in 2/10, but he's got two McLarens ahead of him, so he's going to want to have to get past as soon as possible. And is he moving?
Oh no,
the McLaren is not moving. The McLaren, don't tell me that was Quirk.
I think that was Quirk, yeah. So Quirk not showing very good racecraft there, and that has ruined Justin's lap. I just want to take a moment as well just to say that Fox did actually improve 3/10 on his lap there and did jump up a bunch of positions. So I thought the start finish line was further down the straight than that. So Fox did improve there, but yeah, that was terrible for Justin. He's going to complete the lap anyway. So is he actually going to improve even though he was held up massively there?
Well, I did see there that he lost all that advantage. Yeah, look, he didn't gain. He lost all the advantage that he had because of that McLaren. I think it was Quirk, the reserve. Just did not get out of the way in time, and it's like you need traffic to really behave themselves in Hungary, because it is such a tight and twisty technical track that you need to be aware of other cars around you, because the slightest little lift early or braking in the wrong spot or just running wide can cost so much time on this track. So yeah, that will most likely be reported.
Yep, 100%. I do not like to see that, but we will proceed as I'm joining the other McLaren. He's just got past that turn 4 section. He's absolutely pushing this car to the ragged edge, and I think he was pushing a bit too much there because he's backed out of this lap completely. He is not, I don't know why, but the car just was sliding a bit too much and losing him a bit too much time. So he is backed out of this one. Might go for another run on this set of tires, but might well come into the pits and put on a fresh set of boots as he does get out of the way, as you should do.
Well, what I can tell you, Chief, is that our current pole sitter at the moment, Adesi, is on his second run and looking pretty tidy. Not sure if it's faster yet. We're going to find out shortly. Eyes firmly fixed to the delta, the sector. He's up marginally, but well, that's all you need when you're in front, as long as you're gaining. Let's see how he gets on through this section. He does have a bit of traffic up ahead. I think he might just avoid them. Well, we see the Mercedes up ahead. He still keeps it on track, doesn't invalidate. This is a tricky section here. You want to carry as much speed as you can. Yes, he does get past the mark all right. Purple sector here, it says, in the second sector, up by just over a tenth. The final hairpin. No more traffic ahead of him, so it's going to be a clear run to the finish line. And it is looking like, Chief, that Adesi is going to improve and drop down into the 14s, and it could possibly beat. Oh no, not quite. It doesn't quite beat the tier 2 pole time just yet, Chief. But we're getting close.
Put your teeth back in there, Bob. But yeah, Meepo, is he on a lap here? But yeah, impressive stuff from Adesi there. But yeah, I think pole time might well be faster than that. But Adesi does have time for another lap, and I wonder. Meepo in sector 3 here. He is showing purple sector, so that means he's done his fastest sector time out there. He is going to complete the lap time, so we're going to see if this is actually faster than his second run on those softs. 114, it's a 115.1, so enough for P2, but not quite enough for a 14 lap time, but for now, really great.
Can I just hop in there, Chief, and just say Tino is on a lap, and he's done purple. I think it's purple so far. So I did say if anyone can beat a tier 2 time, it'll be Tino. Oh, he's coming into the pits. What's he? Oh, he's teasing us.
Yeah, he does have time for another run, which is good. And he has left it kind of late, but I think this is just how Tino operates, isn't it? He has that much confidence in himself that he can just show up and be competitive and win races. But let's see, who else have we got on the lap? Is Danico? No, Danico actually improved on his second run on these softs. Put himself into P3 in the background there.
Yeah, he does have traffic though as well. It is he got a yellow in front of him, I think. Is that? I'm not sure who that is, but Yeah, he's got a looks like an alpha in front of him, but should be far enough away. Is he still pushing?
No, he's.
No, he's
I
not.
think he's on an
Okay.
in lap, but Iceland is at Alpha up ahead, and he is on a lap, so he is setting purples. So that means he's doing his best sector times out there, not the best sector times out of every driver. I think it's bugged, but he is coming into the pits as well. So like Tino decides to abandon this run, get a fresh set on, and basically throw everything at the wall, the kitchen sink, whatever you got in there, he's going to have to throw at the wall. Oh, Joel's on a lap.
Oh, if anyone can give us a bit of excitement and drama, it's Joel.
Yep. Just making his way through Sector 1. He's got a 1:16.8 on the board. Massive improvements to be made. So let's see what his Sector 1 time is. It should come up here just as he hits turn 4. He's matched his Sector 1 time, but maybe he's got a lot of time that he can make up in Sector 2 and 3. He's navigating this traffic nicely. And Joel, yeah, he's came into Tier 1 a couple of seasons ago. Has struggled a little bit. I think he doesn't really put much time into the game, and I think that's what's showing in most races, but he does show glimmers of competitiveness. As I say that, he completely goes off track. So there goes my talking up of Joel. Maybe he heard me.
I did successfully point out last week that if it was going to be,
Yeah. I maybe he caused two, because the first one he survived, even though he caused the safety car. Did he cause the second one? I don't know.
Well, before we get into this final run, Chief, I want to shout out to the chat. I want to say hello to everyone on chat. Everyone, the moderators mostly, it seems. But hello to Leps and Kebab, and of course Kiko is there watching, and people are watching, but they're not getting involved, which is fine. They can sit back and listen, but we like them to get involved.
Yeah, I'd like to hear how many DNF do chat think we're going to get today? How many safety cars, and who do you think is going to win this race?
Yeah, a lot of questions there for the folks to answer, and get your brains ticking over. Look at the drivers, look at the track, do your comparisons, and come up with your results while we are waiting for these drivers to start their final lap. Desi is coming around the hairpin. Fox retires. He calls it quits. And in P5, he's sitting nicely there in P5. As Kebab says, 0 DNFs, 1 safety car. 0 DNFs is a big call, I have to say. There are some serial DNFers in Tier 1 as well. But anyway, Chief, if we can, I'll run on board with Adesi here.
Yep.
For the moment, running on board with Adesi. Let's see how he does. Does he improve, or if there is anyone on track that can A, challenge him for pole, and we know there is, and B, if anyone can beat this Tier 2 time. We have to wipe the smirk off our gamer's voice. We can't, face, sorry. We can't, oh no!
Well, it looks like Adesi is not going to be the guy to get that time improved, although, yeah, he's not got time for another lap, so basically he's out of the running for this one. Is anyone going to be able to beat that time, though? That's the big question. Tanari is out there on a lap. He's on Sector 2. I didn't see the time as it came up there.
He's just about 2/10, under 2/10.
Oh, so he's up on his time, and yeah, almost 4/10 now. And the Sector 3, is he going to be able to carry this time to the line? Looks like he cut that corner a bit too shallow, but who am I to say as he navigates the penultimate hairpin and onto the last one. And I love this last one. You want to keep close to that wall. It seems counterintuitive, but yeah, it just flings you out onto the track, and he goes and improves, but doesn't take pole. So close to a 14, but not able to beat Adesi's time. But there are a number of drivers out there that are capable of it. Meepo is not one. He has invalidated his lap time. Danny Coe is on a lap, however. He's P5 currently in Sector 2, and we're going to get a Sector 2 time here, and it'll give us an indication of how he is faring out there, if he's going to get a 14 on the board himself. And he is slightly up in the time as Tino takes pole. Didn't even see that coming. 14.6. Does that beat the Tier 2 time?
Well, I seen it coming. I just didn't want to interrupt you. He was flooring it, and it does indeed beat Tier 2 time. The Tier 2 time was a 14.752. So eat it, our gamer.
Danico goes P4 with 15.1. Nice lap from him. And I think that's it. Everybody has completed their lap or is out of the session. So that is our grid. Justin P10, bit surprised there. Looked like he might have scuffed his last run. So he once again has work to do in this race.
Yeah, I never seen Justin's final run and probably did scuff it, but of course he was up a good bit on his second run into quali. Of course he was held up, but well, it seemed like it anyway. So we'll see what comes of it. But yeah, we've got Super Mac, the reigning champ. He is, I think he's trying to make his. I think it's almost too easy for Super Mac that he's making it a bit more exciting for himself, starting at the back.
Oh, and I've got some intel. Lepson in chat is saying there's whispers of rain at the end of the race, and we have seen this be a big feature in Hungary. It does tend to get wet at sometime during the race, and yeah, according to Lepson, it's going to get wet at the end, possibly.
See there, our gamers saying, I said Tino's not included. Listen. Tier 1 time has beat Tier 2 time. End off.
Yeah, and looking at the Finns then, so many Finns have we got in the top 10. Is it 6? Yeah, 6.
6, yeah.
So 6 Finns in the top 10. New guy Noah, he's a reserve for this race, but his debut in SLR P8, so good showing from him. It's definitely not easy just to show up in Tier 1 and be top 10 in the quali. But he somehow managed to do that, so indicating that he does have pace in that car. It's going to be very interesting to see how he gets on during this race.
So, yes, I agree. Also, a gamer saying that him and Luke are basically P1 and P2. You see, listen, I'm trying to be good, Chief. I try not to bring it up anymore because it winds people up. But the fundamental difference between Tier 1 and Tier 2 is that Tier 2 drivers need a little bit of help to get those times, and the Tier 1 drivers don't use anything. Oh, I'm down here.
You're right there.
Yes. I just have to throw it in. I just have to remind them these guys are doing it all by themselves.
Yeah, and Argamer just saying soft start is goated. We seen that yesterday, Tier 2. Of course, Argamer won that race with a very aggressive strategy, and he started on soft and was able to take the lead from P2. So, yeah, we might see someone try to replicate that today.
Yeah, Gamer's start yesterday was fantastic. He got a fantastic launch, or a good reaction at the time at the lights, as well, of course, having the benefit of the softs, and he just made it work, man. There is the wife has arrived. Hello, do you want to say hello? You're live on stream. Quickly, you're live.
Hello.
There you go. Anyway, he made it work, Chief. And it wasn't easy for our gamer yesterday, because he had to put up with an awful lot of, I would say, an awful lot of pressure. There's a wee rattly thing here beside the mic. We'll move it. He had to put up an awful lot of pressure yesterday because he got the lead, and then there wasn't the safety car came out, and then there was the changeable conditions, and he had to make a good call of staying out long, to get onto the right tires and stuff. So, and look, we've seen already in, was it Las Vegas, that Luke is a quick driver. Like Mac was like pushing to get him. So definitely kudos to our gamer for winning that. Fully deserved, even if he uses line. He fully deserved.
And yeah, looking at tire strategy then, so Tino is the only guy out there, and he is P1, so he's going for that aggressive strategy, it seems, maybe a two-stopper possibly, but generally speaking it's a medium, hard medium strat for most of the guys out here, unless we get safety cars. We may see some guys maybe go for that two-stopper, but generally speaking, track position is key at Hungary, so the less you can pit, the better.
Do you think maybe Tino was watching yesterday and took inspiration from Gamer yesterday?
I was thinking that. Yeah, I was thinking that, Bob. I thought maybe he's seen that and he thought, I'll go for that too. But I also think Tino's probably just going, you know what? I just want to have a bit of fun. And I'm wondering if he is thinking about a two-stopper here just to make things interesting. Yep. And we're about to get underway. We're at the we're on the formation lap, the second corner from the start finish line, and looking at McKender in P19 and thinking, how long is it going to take him to get towards the front row of the grid? Probably not long, if any past races or anything to go by.
And I've just seen I've just been informed some catastrophic news
Oh dear.
for Eagle in P15. he's being crew chiefed by Lapson.
Oh, dear God.
And we seen what happened to Zoom yesterday whenever Lapson crew chiefed him. If he crew chiefs you, you're gonna come last.
I heard Ferrari are looking to hire Lepson.
He would fit right in there. But meanwhile, Chief, the lights are on and there's lots of people home, and we're waiting for them to lead us away into the Hungarian, and the lights are indeed off. Tino leads us away, and as you would have expected, gets a really good start, and Adesi's coming under a lot of attack. Tino very aggressive over to the right hand side, making sure no one is going to sneak up the inside. And is everyone navigating nicely? Yes, they are. I was telling Dan in the DMs a couple of days ago to be careful in turn one, and because we want to see a good result from Super Dan. But he's currently fighting Adesi here in the P2, and he gets the move done on Dan to take that P2 off Adesi, Chief.
Yeah, very well done. Very aggressive stuff from Danny, but I think that's what you have to do at Hungary. Track position is so crucial to the race, and Danny Coe knows that. He's a very experienced league racer and gets himself up to P2, so he's put himself in a really good spot here. Tino, of course, on the soft, so he probably is going to start stretching his legs up front, but Danny Coe knows that, if Tino, this strategy is a bit of a gamble for Tino. He will have to pit first, and maybe it will go against him later in the race.
Another thing, Chief, to point out is the guy I always talk about. Do not discount him. He makes his way up. Justin, up 4 places already before the end of lap 1. On hards. That's a really good position for him already.
Yeah, and looking at McKender as well, I thought he would have been way up the order by now, but he's still last, and he's in the pits. He's got front wing damage, and I see another guy in the pits. It's the 2 Mercs are in the pits, as well as Jonty, one of the Haas drivers. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just seen Meepo. I don't know what happened. I just seen it from Justin's onboard. Meepo into turn 1 hit the front side of Justin. I don't think there was any damage there. Whether that was a bit of a late send on Justin, I wasn't sure. But yeah, a bit of contact between the Alpine and the Williams.
Ooh, interesting. I wonder if there is damage in Meepo's car then. If there is, we will probably see in a few laps time as he will struggle with the car, and yeah, that's not going to be good for him. No visible damage, as you said, but possible slight front wing damage to the car if that impact was harsh enough.
Yeah, it was a pretty decent bump. Like it was, yeah, I don't think it was too serious, but just basically Meepo saying, hello, I'm here and I want that position. And Justin rightfully isn't fighting it too much. He is on a different strategy here. He's playing the long game, which I believe may indeed work out for his favour if everything can stay according to plan. Also, Chief, didn't I read somewhere that someone is predicting a bit of rain, a little bit of the wet stuff later on this track, so that will definitely spice things up.
Yep, Lepson, yeah, can we trust him though? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know, it's Lepson. Like, he's a poker player, and he's supposed to be a pretty good poker player, and you can't trust anything that these guys say. So we'll take everything Lepson says with a pinch of salt. Just be aware, Lepson. I'm watching chat, so I'm watching what you're saying to my wife.
Yeah, he has a thing for your wife, doesn't he, whenever you're doing comms?
She is a very beautiful woman, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, this is true. Tino is stretching his legs out front as we expected. 2.1 is the gap from him to Danny Coe. As well, just expanding on your point, Justin on hard, so this strategy is working out nicely for him. He's a top hard runner. Obviously, this means he can extend his run a little bit, where the medium guys will have to pit a bit earlier. And then Justin will be on the better tire at the end over most of the other guys. Fox as well on that strategy, but falling a little bit behind outside of DRS range. Icewind hanging in there, right behind Fox, and then we've got this new driver, Noah, in P10. So not much change right now. We're not seeing many overtakes, but DRS is open this lap, so we're going to see Danny Coe start to come under pressure, I believe, from the guys from behind.
Yeah, indeed, Chief. And I'm just touching on that Noah guy in P10. He does have a charging Fleur behind him, and Fleur is got a lot of pace in him, depending on the track, of course, but he's definitely squeezing up onto the back end of these guys, and we're going to have a potential DRS fight. We're actually getting three sections of this grid, as you can see. Well, actually 4. You've got Tino off on his own, and then you've got 3 little groups all vying for position here. So definitely we'll expect to see some switcheroos going on onto the DRS.
Yeah, and I think I just caught an incident with Joel. Lost 2 positions from that, so he struggled in turn 1 there. I think he went wide, and that allowed 2 guys to get past him, Quirk and Tilda. But yeah, looking at these Merc guys. What's happening?
Iceman's off. Iceman. Oh, Iceman! Oh my goodness, he's really struggling for grip. He ran wide there, thinking maybe the curb, pulled him off. As I said that again. Anyway, I think that it pulled him off for flip's sake, and he was under the grass, and then he got a bit of dirt on his wheels. So yeah, loses out just 2 positions there.
It's a thing now. I think it's tradition. You have to say that once a race somehow. Slip it in there, as they say.
Oh, Chief, the innuendo was ridiculous.
But yeah, Ice went down to P11. He's on these hard tires, so he's not out of it just yet. He can recover. He hasn't lost too much time from that incident. But yeah, I was just speaking about McKender and Tuge. Obviously, both Mercedes guys. Oh, and Quirk getting a move on Tilda on the start-finish straight, but Tilda coming back at him. Gets it inside line, but I think with DRS, Quirk is going to get this move done. Quirk actually goes very deep into the next corner, and that allows Tilda just to keep him on his toes a little bit. But yeah, you can see it's very hard to overtake anywhere but the start-finish straight here.
Yeah, I was just thinking, any deeper and he'd be into Poland, for goodness sake. That was very deep. Yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, Tilda's far better just not to fight that too much, because he is on those mediums, so just leave it be. But yeah, we have seen pretty much the way these races go, Chief, in Tier 1, is that these front guys, they all kind of just, I wouldn't say necessarily decide to sit behind each other, but their pace is so balanced at the moment across the tier, especially at the front, that they generally don't present many opportunities to overtake, even on the DRS, as we can see in here that these front guys now have all got their DRS activated, but look, they're all just neutralizing each other with their battery and their DRS. So yeah, that's probably, I think this is the main reason why a lot of the guys don't enjoy it. But Fleur was having a bit of a look there on Noah, but nothing happening, Chief.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Flair was behind Noah. Looked like he might have went for a move there, but Noah was getting DRS from the car ahead. That offered him some protection. Obviously, he has some ERS there, but yeah, Flair actually has a lot of ERS in the tank. He's 80%, so I reckon if he had used a bit more in that start finish rate, he might have got that move done. But oh, and he looked like he was going to go for a move there as well into turn 5, but had to back out. And yeah, Flair has pace on these mediums, but just unable to get past these hard runners.
The thing about it is, and you're kind of seeing it here with Fleur, is when you do have quite a lot of pace over the guy in front, even on a track as difficult to overtake in Hungary, you really do kind of need to push the overtake, because you can then get caught out in these break zones. Because you seen there, the Fleur was able to run much deeper, nearly lost it trying to avoid the back end of that Alpine. So yeah, I think that he really needs to push here, Chief, on this DRS zone and really try to get past Noah, and then he can start focusing his attack on Fox.
Yeah, and he's actually using a lot of ERS here already, early doors on the start finish straight, but I think Noah is, he's going to go for it. He does send it late, using the grip of the mediums there to try to send it, but I don't think he's going to get it, because there's two DRS zones there, one right after turn 1, and yeah, Flair unable to get that move done.
But it's worth attacking, Chief, because then you start you force the Alpine to defend, which then will drag him away from the DRS buffer that he's got a Fox, and then that'll make him a sitting duck.
Yeah, and both Noah and Flair equal ERS right now. I saw in chat there, Eagle Ghost, apparently he's carrying some light wing damage, and he is coming under heavy attack from Ryad in P17, so that is unfortunate for Eagle Ghost, but if he can stay out for a few more laps, maybe he can get on to hards and run those to the end of the race, but he will probably want to change that front wing, and that's going to cost him a bunch of time.
Tell you what, Chief, though, Tunari, he was very, very close to running into the back of Jenab in some of these break zones. He is definitely got a lot of pace in that final sector over Jenab, but once again, you're seeing these guys are just neutralizing each other on the DRS. Oh, is Tuna going to have a go? Nope, he's having a little bit of a sniff at the rear. I have to finish my sentence. He's having a little bit of a sniff up the rear end there of that car. We'll put it like that, and nothing doing. But you can see that Desi's now really assaulting the gearbox of that McLaren of Dan, and Dan is obviously holding strong here. He doesn't have the benefit of DRS of Tino. Tino is effectively checking out on those softs. What was that? Meepo. Meepo was also. Yeah, Chief, what do you think? These guys are just neutralizing each other.
Yeah, it seems like it. Oh, and who was that? Made a mistake. Janab gets a big tank slapper on in the chicane. Yeah, it's a big feature of this race. I mean, I've already mentioned it. Start-finish rate. It's all about that exit onto the start-finish rate. If you're going to get a move done, it's going to be there unless the driver ahead makes a mistake. And we're in Tier 1. Most of these guys aren't making mistakes. And even when they do, they're able to recover. Janab is struggling though. I'm watching from Tanari's point of view. And I wonder if it's the pressure from Tanari is causing Janab just to get a wee bit frantic in that cockpit, because I've seen his car sliding about a number of times. But Tino is in the pits, so we see him in the background there. He is pulled into the pits. Lap 8, quite an early one from him. He goes to mediums. That indicates he is going to go for the two-stopper, so that really shakes this race up. We'll keep an eye on him as he comes out in P12 just ahead of Quirk. Oh, he might not actually. I think Quirk might actually get out ahead of him here.
Riyad's going for an overtake on Joel. Joel gives a pretty decent bit of a defense. I think Riyad's going to run too deep. I seen that one far too deep on the brakes, and Joel read that one like a book. And yeah, thank you very much. But Riyad will, of course, have the DRS again, and he's going to be able to try to slow the inside. And Joel really struggles there. It looked like he was getting onto the dirty part of the track, and he was losing on traction. But yeah, it was a messy bit of a overtake, but an overtake nonetheless.
Yeah. Riyad Joel going off track there, able to recover nicely. But yeah, a few drivers at the back are struggling as Tilda gets past Quirk up to P13, but Tino just about came out ahead of Quirk in this pack. Tilda, Quirk and Riyad, so that will obviously benefit him as he's got some clear air up ahead, 4.2. He's on these fresh mediums, so he's got work to do right now, and you can see that time already coming down a tenth at a time.
Probably going to see a move for the lead here, Chief. As a Desi, he's got the DRS. Dan the man not even bothering to fight this. No deployment, no point. The DRS, and Desi now is the new race leader, Chief.
Interesting stuff, yeah. So I think Danico probably thinking I'll just sit behind you for a moment and get some ERS harvested for later in the race. But yeah, it's really come down to who is going to make the least amount of mistakes here and give the other driver any opportunity of overtake, as Riyad and Quirk are going at it. I'll join them and see what's happening. Looks like they had an issue in turn 1 there, and they're side by side going into turn 2. Riyad has the inside line, so takes the position. Looks like he is up to P14, and that's secured for now.
Janab is under real threat here, Chief. He's so desperate to stay in that DRS of Dan, because he's pretty much got no battery. He's been watching Tier 3 a bit too often, and he's got no battery really to fight or to attack with, and he's so desperate to stay within that DRS. He's within touching distance of losing it. In fact, I think he has lost it. He has lost the DRS just about, which means Tunaman is just going to breeze past him. In fact, he's actually under threat, Chief, of Meepo and Tunaman passing him.
Yeah, we'll see how this plays out. Start-finish rate, DRS opens fairly quickly. ERS will be engaged. Also, Slipstream will benefit Tanari as well as he makes his pass. And is Meepo going to go for it as well? No, Meepo happy to stay behind and stay in P5 for now, but Meepo will have DRS. Janab might come under threat here. No, it's too short as straight really to make any gains for Meepo, but Tanari up to P3, 1.3 behind Danny Koda. That could be crucial.
Rain, Chief, it's starting to rain.
Oh my word. Already?
Yeah. If you watch on board with Meepo, there is the wet. Oh yeah, a bit of a tank slap. The wet stuff has arrived in Hungary much early, Chief, than we had expected. So maybe this explains what Tino was doing, going for the softs early onto the mediums. That would maybe explain it, but then again, maybe not, because the softs would have took him to the rain shortly.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, you'd imagine he would have extended a few laps. I know the softs can run more than 8 laps, but he decided to come in early. Maybe he knew something we don't. and we're going to see how that plays out, as we are only on lap 11 out of 35. It is oh, Tenari almost lost the back end there coming out of the penultimate corner. So yeah, looks like it's getting slippy out there, as we're seeing Tino making a move. Oh, Tino's in the pits. What has happened there?
Well, he's obviously not hanging about here, Chief, and he's going to get some of these more stickier rubber on for this wet stuff. He's probably going to stick on the inters, and
Yep.
he is.
Copying his
makes
hole.
sense. So he's getting in early. Of course, anyone that isn't familiar, Tino is, I believe, an ex-esports driver, so he has, what would you say, knowledge of the dark arts around these tracks. He knows when to pit and when not to pit better than most.
Oh, but we've got Janab and Meepo going at it. Janab looks like he's struggling. There was an issue there. Meepo goes wide. We're seeing wheel-to-wheel racing here as it's getting wet, which is making it very difficult here, as these guys are going back and forth. Meepo does get ahead for now. Justin as well, trying to capitalise on these two fighting, but just not able to do it. This track is just so twisty and narrow. It is very hard to get a move on, as yeah, Justin on these hards ends. So I think in these conditions, I think everybody's going to pit here. Bob, it's getting quite wet. It looks like the rain is getting heavier as well.
Yeah, this looks like it's time to come in, lads, and get a set of those inters on. Justin, as you did say there, trying to sneak up the inside. He is the opportunistic driver. He is, of course, the previous winner of the last week. Is that right? He won last week.
Yep.
From I wouldn't say out of nowhere, but he was pretty much knocked out of the title or the race contention early. Oh, he just about gets it on the brakes there. And then via safety cars and whatnot, he manages to win the race. So yeah, anything is possible in Tier 1.
Right. I'm looking at Tino right now. So Tino on these enters. This hasn't worked out for him. He's lost a bunch of position. He's going to have a lot of work to do. And on a track where you can't really overtake, and on wet conditions as well, where it's even harder to overtake. So as the pit stops play out, he is in P7, but he's a long way off the lead here.
Yeah, I think this, well, naturally you would expect this rain, Chief. Oh my God, Justin, going up. What happened here? Justin on Jenab. Looked like Jenab wasn't really sure where he's going to defend. Yeah, Justin was very committed to that one, and they just about avoid disaster. But yeah, Justin is getting a move on here, Chief. He smells opportunity, and he goes for it. DRS disabled. It's been confirmed.
Yeah, Justin, he is a bit of a wet specialist, it seems, and Janab is the opposite of a wet specialist. It seems he's struggling a little bit. Maybe not the opposite of a wet specialist, but he's not doing as well, shall we say. And he is starting to fall off the back of Justin and come under pressure from Tino, who is currently in P7, but obviously he's liking these positions quite a lot. And I'm not sure I've seen much of Tino in the wet. We're right on board with him for a while here and see how he gets on.
Yeah, I'll tell you another driver not doing as good as we would expect. Oh, Jen, I'm getting twisty there. Would be our multi-tier 1 champ from Super Mac down in P18. Not really making any way forward at all this race. I don't know. I wouldn't say he's struggling as such. Mac never struggles, so I'm sure there must be some other issues. Jenab going defensive against Tino. Tino going around the outside. Jenab really making him work for this one. Oh, and really runs him off wide. Yeah, you don't want to be doing that, lads. Run him off wide. That's just going to just get Tino's back right up. Oh my goodness!
Oh,
he tries to go for a cutback and he taps the rear end of him. This is going to really wind Tino up. And I suppose you could say he's got an allowance for that. Dan the man gets himself a 3-second time penalty. The wet stuff, it generates these kind of issues. And yes, I'll be keeping a wee eye on this on the Tino and Jenab, Chief, because it's getting feisty. And Lepson says in chat, he loves them wet.
Okay, we'll leave that one, shall we?
Mm-hmm. We'll not go into any more detail.
Yeah, that's a dangerous one. But yeah, whenever that fighting was happening between Tino and Janab, yeah, Danny Co took the lead, and I don't think it was on the start finish rate either. I think it was after turn 1 or during turn 2. But yeah, Danny Co able to get the position, but then in turn 4 cuts the track and picks up a penalty. So
Ice wind! No.
Oh no, he's off.
Yeah, Icewind tried to go up the inside of Noah on the brakes, locked up, went sideways. Yeah, as you do.
Yeah, so some drivers struggling out there in these conditions. I mean, they do look horrendous, but at least they've got the inters on. That will help them a little bit. Um, but it's quite early for rain as well. I wonder if it's rain until the end or if it's going to dry up at some point.
Well, thankfully, we do have someone that maybe could tell us. See that guy Lepson in chat? See if you make yourself useful, because you are crew chiefing. Ironically, the guy in last. No shade towards Eagle. It's not your fault, Eagle. It's because Lepson's crew chiefing you. But if you can find out how long this rain's going to last, that will be very helpful. Thank you very much.
Ryad and Tilda, I was going to say they're the closest guy on track, but actually Tugay and Quirk are, because Tugay just overtook Quirk. Around turn 2 in these conditions, that's pretty impressive, as Copy is getting passed by Icewind, as Copy had an issue there. Icewind back up to P11, but he does have that time penalty, so he has got work to do. And we're starting to see these gaps kind of get a little bit bigger. These conditions really kind of highlight the racecraft of each driver, it seems.
Yeah, rain really does separate, people that really have the talent to those that don't. And Lepson has.
Oh, Tino's out! Tino's out! What has happened? It's there he is.
Second last corner, Chief. He must have spun straight into the pit wall, or sorry, the opposite pit wall. Safety car, Chief. Of all the drivers that I could have picked to lose it and give it a safety car, Tino would not have been on the list. So that is a shock.
But here's what I don't understand. Why is that Tino's car there? What about
the Red Bull? It was on track and then it moved. It vanished. So see the hairpin. See the hairpin, the second last corner.
But usually when you DNF, your car doesn't start, keep moving. That's why I can't understand this.
True enough. Not sure.
Has he retired on track, I wonder?
That's a good point, because I remember in Spa last season, whenever I got rear-ended by Naiku, it smacked me into the wall, instantly wiped my front wing off, and it instantly called a safety car, but I wasn't DNF'd. So that did happen to me now, so I wonder, did that happen to Tino? Who knows? But what I was going to say before this massive curveball was thrown at us was that Lepson delivered in terms of the rain, Chief, and he says, I will quote how he wrote it. 10 minutes till it calms down, Jeff said. Calms down. I believe those that can speak English would say that that's calms down. Calms down. You have to give Lepson, you have to give him a hard time. You have to. It's the rules. You have to give him a hard time.
We're getting guys pitting from the lead. Danny Koa, Desi, Tenari, Meepo, Justin, all in the pits. Janab is staying out. Some of these guys are putting wets on. So some of these guys are making a gamble, putting wet tires on. Danny Koa went for a fresh set of inters. Justin, fresh set of inters. This mixes things up quite considerably. So Adesi feels it is wet enough to warrant wet tires. But the question is, how long is the heavy rain going to last? Because if it switches back and it starts drying up, these guys who went for wets, this is not a good call. But who am I? We will find out when we get underway again. But yeah, I'm not so sure about this. But it's all dependent on the weather. We just don't know.
Oh, Joel nearly lost it on the brakes under the safety car. Easily done. But look, all we have to go on, Chief, is really what Leps is telling us from his crew chief, or from what Jeff's saying to Eagle Ghost. So basically, Eagle Ghost is getting told by Jeff what it is, and then Eagle Ghost is then telling Lepson, and then Lepson's telling us. So we're getting it about like fourth hand, but that's all we've got to go on. 10 minutes of rain, so we'll see. Joel is really struggling. I'm watching here on board with Joel. He is really struggling in these brake zones. Going as slow under the safety car as you would imagine.
Yeah.
And Super Mac is keeping a good distance as well.
Yeah, he's obviously trying to push a little bit to catch up with the safety car train, but he's overdoing it, it seems. And yeah, McKender, I mean, McKender, this has worked out nicely for McKender in a way. It has salvaged his race somewhat because he will be bunched up again. He decided to go for a fresh set of inters, and he's currently P16. But of course, everybody will be bunched up once the safety car goes in. So good news for McKender. It does give him a bit of hope for this race, as we are only at the halfway point of the race. So still a long way to go yet.
Exactly, Chief. That's a good point. You know, we are indeed, as you said, halfway into the race. It feels like much longer than that. So there is still a lot of racing to be done, and people are really struggling, Chief, on the inters, following, but trying to catch up to the safety car. So maybe these wets is a good call. Excuse me, Lepson's saying that the only thing that Jeff's saying is that the inters are the best. Excuse me, I had the hiccups. That the inters are the best tire for now. So we'll see. He's also saying you're so smart, Chief.
Oh.
He must be looking for something. He must be after more admin rights or something. So, I mean, how did he become admin? How did he end up being an admin? I mean, that just came out of nowhere. Like who in their right mind gives Lepson admin?
and stream chat mod as well. Like what the hell?
Exactly. I mean, I've been here since the beginning. I don't have admin. How did he get?
Here, I'm watching McKender's POV. Joel is struggling big time still.
Yeah.
He's going wide turn one he went so deep. I think he made the corner pregnant. Sorry.
We're going there, aren't we? We're going. You're just opening.
We'll edit that out.
You're just opening the door up for me, Chief. And I say things by accident. Imagine what the things I say on purpose.
Dear Lord, we'll do an after midnight race. I think it'll be suitable for that one.
But yeah, these guys are taking their merry time to catch up with the safety car as Jonty gets himself a 3 second time penalty, cutting the track under safety car conditions. So, what does that tell you?
I think obviously he's pushing to catch up, but he doesn't really need to. The safety car is staying out for another lap, so he just needs to keep it in his pants, as they say.
Yeah, he needs to keep it all together. Keep it, as we would say over here colloquially, keep it between the hedges. Super Mac is into the pits, Chief. Eagle Ghost has left the session.
Oh dear.
He has not DNF'd. Yeah, he hasn't DNF'd, but he has left the session. So that's obviously a connection issue, I would believe. But Super Mac, Chief, into the pits. He has also decided, yep, I want to get rid of these inters and stick on the wet stuff. Stick on the wets. So, yeah, we're probably going to see more and more drivers do that.
Yeah, I think it might be a good call for McKender. I mean, he's nothing really to lose. He's right at the back of the grid. And if these wets are the tire to be on, he's going to make up a bunch of positions because over half the field are in inters. And it does look very wet out there, it has to be said. And even on these wets, he's struggling to make the corner in turn 2.
Yeah, we'll see. We call him Lepson. He confirms that he does do it at least once. Jack. Oh, look at that! Look who we've got in chat. It's Fabulous Babulous himself. Hello, Babulous. Welcome to your... No, I can't say it.
Welcome to Finland. That doesn't make any sense, but it's an old meme. Sorry.
I get it. Sorry.
McKender, yeah. So McKender about to make his way up to the back end of the grid, and yeah, we've got safety car in this lap. So McKender just about getting onto the back of this train, ready for the start of this race. Janab is going to lead the way, and we're going to see what is the best tire to be on right now. Some are on these very fresh inters, some are on these older inters, but a lot of there's quite a number of guys that have gambled on wets. So let's join Janab on board as he is about to become the lead car and probably going to go from the last corner here. Seems to be the preferred option. He's taking a very wide entry, and yep, he's got the power down and he's off. Fox is on his tail. Looks like Fox was ready for that, and everybody snaking to the right hand side of the track to get that slipstream. Is Fox going to go for a move? No, he doesn't. Fox actually... Oh,
Sorry, Tuna Man runs really deep, but that was a really well done move if he intended it, and he got the move done on Meepo. But Chief, we're going to get a real good idea here of the difference between the wets and the inters.
Yeah, and also the fresh inters versus the older inters. Look at Danico already past Fox and about to send it on Janab into turn 4. Janab backing out of that one, rightly so. But yeah, those fresh inters are working nicely for Danico at this point, and a lot of penalties coming in there as well.
Yeah, and Fox, of course, is not the easiest man to overtake. He will fight tooth and nail for every corner he can, and he's not, of course...
And someone's off up ahead. It's an Alpine. I think it's Meepo. Yeah, Meepo looked like maybe a bit of contact, or maybe he got on the curb, and his car goes for a walk in the park.
Yeah, Justin was really twitchy there, really struggling to keep control of that car coming out of that the chicane, Chief. So yeah, everyone here is really struggling on these conditions, as you would expect. And who's this? Is this Tugay is having a little bit of a look up the side of Copy, but not doing. And yeah, it's into the corners, Chief. This is what happens when you get to these wet races. It's into the braking zones where mostly the moves happen, but that's where you get the incidents as well. Oh, Fox! Almost losing the rear end there. He might come under pressure here by Noah, but I think he's too far back to make anything happen. You seeing anything, Chief?
Yeah, I spotted Tanari getting passed by Icewind, and now Justin getting an overtake done on a Desi. So Justin on these fresh enters, and it looks like they're better. Actually have more grip in them than these wets. I don't know if it's a temperature issue or if the track's just not wet enough for these wets to be effective, but it looks like these fresh enters are the tires to be on right now. But I tell you what, the rain is still looking pretty heavy right now.
Yeah, man. As you say, it is pretty heavy, and it doesn't look like it is going to be drying up anytime soon. And yeah, this is going right to the distance. This battle's going right to the end. As Tugay is having a little look on Tuna Man, and he does get the move done on the chicane, opportunistic move. We're seeing moves all over the place. Mac getting past the flare as well. Mac really struggling on the throttle there, but he keeps it under control. It's so much to watch here, Chief. It's hard to keep up. Iceman now assaulting the back end of that Ferrari here off a Desi, and he's going to get the move done. And a Desi breaks there, lets him go. Clear as day, he lifts to let him go there. He doesn't want anything to part of that. Dare I mention the Finn, but I won't say that. Justin now having a go here on Noah, and Justin's going to have to go around the long way. He's not going to get that done because naturally he will be using more track. Starts in behind Noah again, but the ERS is being deployed. Will we see a little bit of a dive here? Justin is going to go for it. He's going for it, and is he going to get all three? Oh, and was that Justin hits? Who was that Justin hit?
Fox, I think.
Who was it? Was that Fox he hit? Or was it the other way around? I'm not sure. Oh, it's really kicking off here, Chief. All these positions are switching. People are sending it, and they have to. It's the nature of the track. And Justin's now desperately trying to get past Noah. He's got so much pace. Is he going to try and go on a fast blind left-hander? Surely not. No, backside of it. Noah is defending here.
Oh my word, what a move from Justin though. Noah went wide on the exit of turn 4, and Justin just slips it down the inside, and he gets that move done. These fresh enters are looking... It's only 4 laps difference between the fresh and the old enters, but look at the massive gains. As Justin goes wide, they're almost losing the car, so he is trying to get everything out of this car right now. You can see Danico up ahead. 6 seconds is the lead from P1 to P2. So those fresh enters are the tire to be on right now. Those wets do not seem to be working out.
Yeah, man, and that move on Justin on Noah, you could almost see it. I was going to say that he actually set that up. The reason why he went so wide to force him to go up the inside, and then he slaps back. But watching Justin, you can see that he is ragging every last inch of performance out of that car. And that's what you normally see him doing. You know, he likes that kind of twitchy, kind of Max Verstappen style kind of a car.
Yeah.
And he's now, go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, there's a big gaggle at the back, big battle going into the final corner. Eagle Goose, Tilda, Flair, Joel, they're all on different tires. Well, most of them are on enders, but look at this, they're running so tight together. I think something's going to happen here. I'll just ride on board with Tilda and see as he goes down the inside. It's a free wide into turn 1, and we saw this last lap. Someone did pay the price there, but Good racing from these guys, I have to say. I expected some carnage there, but
Yeah.
everyone making it through so far.
There was a good move there, a good battle there between Jenab and Justin as well. Justin went up I tried to attack him on the first corner. Jenab defended well, but then he got him, of course, on the second DRS zone, which normally is his DRS zone. So yeah, Justin up to P2, hunting down Dan the Man, currently in P1, but he's got quite a gap to chop down off Dan. 8 seconds is the lead.
Yeah, Justin, I don't know if you mentioned it, but Justin with that penalty as well in the last lap. Oh, and yeah, I'm still with this gaggle at the back. Tilda and Joel are struggling big time out there. They get a move done and then they make a mistake and lose the position. And we're going through the S's here. You can just see how tentative Tilda is on the throttle. Cork with a time penalty there in the background. But yeah, this is sweaty racing.
It's what, Chief?
It's sweaty racing.
Oh, sweaty? I thought you said wetty. I thought you said I'll play on the
That's something totally different, yeah. Oh, we're seeing a move. Is it Icewind? He got a good run out of the final corner. Is he going to get this move done? Maybe too far back for now. No DRS, of course, but looks for a move just in case. And yeah, Copy. Oh, Copy struggling on the exit, and the other is that AlphaTauri? Yeah, AlphaTauri struggling into turn 1, and Icewind looks like he's going to get a move on both AlphaTauris by turn 2. What a race from him. He's had some good moves, some good overtakes. He's currently in P6.
So, I mean, Chief, this race is completely turned on its head. You just give the track a little bit of a wet stuff, and my goodness, look at the excitement that you get. These people, not only are they fighting the track, but they're obviously fighting each other, and it just makes such a pleasure to watch these guys. All very skilled drivers, and you're seeing that as they're all able to do all these fighting without taking each other out.
Yeah. Yep, they're fighting each other, but they're also fighting the car. As you can see with Fox, he is struggling in that AlphaTauri in these conditions and these tires, falling off the back of Copy already, and Copy as well falling off the back of Icewind. So, yeah, few drivers struggling still at this phase of the race. We're about to head into 11 laps to go as Tugay is getting moved on. It's an unusual place to get a moved on. It's from the penultimate corner to the final corner. And Noah takes the inside line there, and it looks like that was enough to secure the position. But Icewind is joining this pack. He is going to fight for this P4 spot. And he is deciding maybe just to... Oh, and Noah almost losing the car under braking there. He might have to make a few adjustments to his brake bias, because that looked like the back end is snapped on him as Icewind now up to P5 and on the back of Tugay.
Oh no, Eagle was going to move on Joel, and Tilda thought he would have a go too, and he bumps the side off Joel, his teammate, almost loses it. But these guys are really fighting hard too, further back, Chief. 12th, 13th and 14th.
Yeah, lots of battling going on here, and this is great. I mean, for us, like, everybody's on different kind of tires, different age tires, and obviously the conditions are playing a huge part in this, and we're really getting a great race here today because of it.
Yeah, man, it's, as you say, it's all over the track. Justin is not really making any impact on that lead of Dan. In fact, quite the contrary, he's actually losing time. He was, last time I checked in with him, he was just about 8 seconds away. He's now just over 6.5, almost 9 seconds. Dan the Man is checking out. And let me say, will I say it with 10 laps to go? I don't want to scud him. Will I? I'll just go for it. Dan the Man asked me if I'm going to be playing that game Lethal Company later on, and I says, I'm busy commentating on you winning the race first. I literally wrote that in 2S chat. I'm commentating you winning Hungary. So
interesting. Yeah. Mystic Bob strikes again, perhaps, as Fox peels into the pits on these old Inters. It's going to be interesting to see what Fox puts on. Is he going to put on a fresh set of Inters, or is it now time for the full wets?
Tugay and Jenab are fighting, Chief. Tugay, I can't. Tugay and Jenab are fighting. See, I was listening to Babs yesterday whenever he called him Dodge. I was getting confused. It's actually Tugay, they call him. So yeah, I was being influenced by Fabulous Babulous.
Icewind still. Oh my word! Icewind sends it into the chicane. Oh my God! Loses the back end. What a move! I mean, it was bold, but it didn't pay off for him that time, and he's lost a couple of positions. But still looks like he's got plenty of pace in the car here, and I reckon he's probably going to get some over. Oh, he's going to go for the move. Is it around the outside and the S's? Gets one done. Gets one back. He's got another guy ahead, Noah. He's employing his ERS. He does have a lot in the tank. Goes down the inside and takes back P5. So back to where he was before all that kicked off.
Man, this is a really... Oh, Noah, be careful. A little tap and you'll spin ice. This is a really aggressive Icewind. This is not normally... This is not typical of Ice. He's really going for it. Or maybe... maybe he's not aggressive. Maybe he's just struggling, Chief. That's probably what it is, you know?
Yeah, I thought he lost it there. He got a pretty bad exit as he got onto the curb, and that loosened the back end to quite a scary extent as Noah is going for the move on the inside. But I think Icewind has got a bit of an advantage with these slightly younger inters, and yep, Icewind keeps that position and keeps within range of P4 as well.
How loose would you say Icewind's rear end is, Chief?
I mean, how loose can you get? That's the real question.
I mean, like, throwing it? No, I can't.
Oh, look at this, pal. McKender, Eagle Ghost. Who else is that? Is Tilda as well in this one? So McKender is trying to make his way past these guys, but on these wets, he's trying to...
Nice win!
Oh, no.
Noah! Oh, it's happened again. So we've seen the kind of a precedent of what was going to happen in that before. What we were predicting or anticipated was going to happen, Chief. Carnage between the Alpha and the Haas.
Aye. So who caused that? Was that another move from Icewind?
I don't want to say, because I just seen the actual impact, but it looked like Ice running into the back of Jenna. But again, don't hold me to that. I'm not sure, but that's what I think looked like happened. Yeah.
I mean, in these conditions, very easy to do that. Wheel-to-wheel racing, difficult at best at times, as Copy is in the pit, so I imagine maybe he's picked up damage there. He's just decided he's had enough on these inters and wants to get a fresh set of possibly wets, I would imagine. That's what Fox went for, and Fox is his teammate. Might be getting some information from him as to which tire to go on. No front wing change though. Oh, that is, sorry, front wing change, yep. So that's why he is in the pits. Comes out outside of the points, but let's go and find some battles on track.
Tilda passing the tier 1. Oh my goodness!
Oh god!
Oh my goodness! Mac will be thinking, what the f was that? Where did that come from? And Tilda, realizes his mistake, and he gives it back to Super Mac. But I think Mac will still be a little bit annoyed with that one. Yeah.
And someone's off at turn 1. I think it might be. Is it Fox possibly? I'm not sure who that was, but yeah, someone went off at turn 1 there. But yeah, McKender free second time penalty. I was just going to say, yeah, this really demonstrates, like you can see visually, McKender on these 9 laps wets doesn't seem to be the tire to be on. But look at Tilda. Tilda is able. He's got pace on McKender, and I think that's
no. Mac definitely moved over there.
Oh,
clearly, he was way off track. If that was a mistake, it didn't look like it, but it looked like he just gave it back to Tilda.
Right. Maybe McKender's just want to do the gentlemanly thing.
Lepson's in here. He loves those old people talk or dirty talk. That's a bit rich from him. He's like 50.
At least, yeah.
At least.
McKender in the pits. Noah in the pits. Noah is getting a front wing change. I don't think McKender is. McKender getting a front wing change, or just to change it? Yeah, just to change the tire so it enters. Although, look at the rain coming down in the pits. That looks like heavy rain. So has he switched to the wrong tire?
Yeah, it looks like a monsoon. But on that very point, we are getting quite conflicting reports on chat by 2 very accomplished drivers. We are getting our gamers saying there's more rain is coming, puddles are forming, and then we have Kiko saying they should box for hards. Now,
okay.
I think that might be a troll. I think it is.
Yeah, Fox went deep into turn 1 there, and that has allowed Jonty to close up on him big time. But Fox did go on to those fresh wets, so I was just watching him to see what kind of pace he has. But yeah, I mean, Desi is he's kind of come back into this race on those old wets. I think we might be in wet territory now. Oh, Miko's retired from the race. Where's that? That's from the back end of the grid. He's in the pits, yep. So no safety car this time, thankfully.
Yeah, I mean, Hungary, it's a tricky track even in the dry, as I mentioned in my intro. It is an assault on the senses of the drivers, requiring laser focus, but whenever you throw the wet stuff on it, it just makes it really not pleasant at all to try and drive on this track, and that probably is what was going through Maple. We probably had enough there. As you're seeing, Fox again running off track, Chief, but we have not long to go, Chief.
Oh, there's a move on the straight, but it's Tanari in the pits. He's coming off these old wets. The only guy left on those old wets is a Desi in P6, and he probably doesn't want to pit from that position. He's probably going to try and get to the end on these old wets, but I wonder if they're going to make it.
I don't know. It's like it does look like proper wet conditions. And Justin just keeps falling back from Dan. So either Justin is getting slower or Dan is just consistently fast or getting faster. I don't know, but someone's going to give here, Chief. I would imagine Dan's probably going to just keep going, surely. I mean, with this lead, who's that? Riyadh is passing Quirk. I just seen while I'm chatting here. There isn't really much happening on track, really, given the nature of the conditions. It's more or less the drivers are kind of fighting the conditions now, really, than fighting each other. But in saying that, Eagle Ghost is, to use Lepson's expression, Eagle is flying. He's up the back here of a Desi in P6. So from he was P20 at one point in this race. He's now up to P6. Is McKender passing Fleur. So yeah, Eagle's going nicely here, Chief.
Yeah, nice to see. He's in the points. A lot of guys in the points, actually, that you don't normally expect to see in the points, like Joel and Tilda as well. He's obviously played his cards right in these crazy conditions. Got himself into points, but look behind that bunch. You've got Noah, who's now getting past Joel on the straight. Copy as well on these fresh enters. McKender on fresh enters. Flair on fresh enters. Tanari on the freshest enters. These guys are all going to be wanting to get into the points by the end of this race, and they're running out of track time in which to do so.
Yeah, and Lepson's saying here in chat that the rain's going to get lighter from now on, but I don't think we'll see much of a difference, really, in terms of tires and stuff, because the track is absolutely drenched. Oh, who was that? My goodness. Who was that? Was that Cops? Cops? I don't think he sent it. I think Joel just backed out of it. But it looked like Cops absolutely floored it past Joel. So Joel drops out of the point positions, and he has the reigning champ behind. And Joel is really struggling here, Chief. So Mac will be looking to get past as soon as possible. Yeah. Job done.
Yeah, McKenna almost. He's visibly within reach of points. He does have a penalty to deal with. Another guy I want to point out has had a really good recovery drive. Tugay. He did find himself at the back of the grid at one point in the race, early days, but now is P3, and he doesn't have a penalty, so he's technically P2 right now.
Joel just about kept it out of the wall. I would not be surprised if Joel retires or changes changes tires, because he is struggling massively. I mean, he's at a high risk here of losing the car.
Yeah, and it's right at the end of the race as well, which is quite demoralising for him, as he P13. No real hope of getting points here unless some mad happened up ahead, and he is on very old Inter, so he's just wanting to see that flag at this point of the race. Tilda getting passed by Noah into turn 2, so Noah making these fresher Inters count, and it looks like he might be able to catch Eagle Goose with that penalty.
Yeah, I'm just looking. What are the penalties, Dan? He's got about 3 seconds. I think Justin and Dan both have 3 seconds, so alas, that'll have no real impact on their race. Tugay nicely in P3. In fact, no, Chief. Quirk, we've lost Quirk. He's retired in the race. he's had enough too, Chief. But look, actually, I did actually miss this. Maybe you've already said it. Tuge is actually going to get P2 here, Chief, because he has no penalties.
Yep, it's looking good for Tuge right now, and yeah, he had a really bad start to the race. I mean, he was in the pits after the first lap with McKender. Currently looking at P2 unless he gets a penalty.
Oh, cops on the back of Tilda. Tilda running really, really deep. Tilda's be far better not to fight that because he's really struggling. Ooh. Yeah. And you actually want to try and avoid, I believe anyway, you want to avoid that like drain almost curb. That'll kind of pull you in. I was going to say the other one, but I didn't. That will kind of pull you in and spin your car. So especially in the wet, you want to avoid that. But yeah.
Did you see that Vegas race where that manhole sucked off Carlos Sainz?
I missed the bit where it actually did not. I think it did not blow him off. Instead, blow him off the track.
Bit of a mix, yeah. I think it was a bit of both, yeah.
Yeah, there was a suction effect as he went past, and then it blew him off into the wall. Tuna Man retires also in the pits.
Oh dear. So he's had enough. Yep.
These guys are just checking out. They do not want any more part of it. And you'd think after getting so far into the race, you could really last another couple of laps. Sure. It is what it is.
Yeah, we've got a couple of guys out here on these fresher enters trying to make inroads into the points. Flair tantalizingly close to points. Got himself past Tilda. And yeah, order is restored as Joel and Tilda now out of the points. Fox and Adesi, the only guys on those full wet tires. I had to hand it to Adesi. He's stuck with these wet tires. He's committed to the strategy. He's got one more lap after this one to do, and he will be home free. As what is happening, there is a few moves going on here. Noah and Eagle, McKender and Copy. We'll try and see what's happening with Eagle and Noah as they're going side by side into the last corner. Noah taking that inside line and getting that move done. So Eagle struggling on these older inters and about to get caught by McKender and Copy as well, and possibly Flair.
Yeah, Eagle was trying of his best obviously to defend that, but I mean he was going to lose it regardless on penalties, especially with those such older laps on those tires. Yeah, it was always going to be a challenge, but you're right, Adesi is doing well to hold on. As Gamer does point out that, you know, there is a small window. Oh, Noah passes Adesi as well.
Yeah, no prisoners taken there from Noah as he just took that racing line, and Adesi had to back out or he would have lost his front nose. Adesi is going to come under a big pile of pressure right now as Eagle Ghost and McKender, who's trying to get past Eagle Ghost, are right on the back of Adesi. And Adesi on these incredibly old wet tires. Is the only kind of saving grace is it looks like it is wet conditions right now, as in full wet.
Tuge, sorry, I'm joking here. Tuge was so close to passing that back does indeed pass Eagle, but Tuge was so close to passing Justin.
Oh, Eagle is off. He's gone into the wall. Oh, he just lost it coming out of the last corner there, and he's got damage. Oh, and Tuge is getting past Justin. They're fighting, going down into turn 2. Justin gets the inside line, but Tuge's probably going to try a little bit of a switchback maneuver here as they run down to turn 4. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. No, he doesn't have it, but he is employing ERS. Very good.
The chief to cut across just saying, don't risk it, Tuge. Just do not risk it. You've got the place. I know he wants to do it on track. I can totally understand that. But don't risk it. Mac is going to pass Adesi, indeed, does indeed pass him as expected. But just back with Tuge, you don't need to fight him. Just sit behind him. It's literally an easy P2. I wouldn't say easy; it's the wrong word to use, but you know what I mean. The guy's got a penalty. Just sit there. Cops is literally pushing Adesi around this track. How close do you want to get? Surely he's going to go for it here. He's deploying everything, and that's going to happen. He's going to have to lift early because of those wets are going to be significantly slower. He might get Cops here on the run up, but I'm going to quickly switch over, Chief, as Dan the Man crosses the line. A dominant win, and don't DNF before you cross when he wins the race.
Yeah, that would have been not good for the books, as Justin is going to bring it home on track in P2, but losing out in penalties will drop down to P3. Icewind P4. After all that, he brings it home P4, and with a safe enough gap behind to secure that position, even with that penalty. And Janab, the best of the Haas drivers out there today, P5 for him, it looks like. Copy on the back of Adesi, though. This is a battle that is 4 points, and Adesi is struggling big time. He's almost being pushed round the corner, and Adesi choosing the inside line there. Copy is frustratingly close to getting this move done. He is tapping him a few times there just to let him know he's there, but yeah, Adesi sealing that position, crosses the line, does secure P8. McKender taking P7 in the end. Nice recovery drive from him. Noah, new driver, debut performance, P6. What a race from him in these very, very difficult conditions. Copy then gets a P9, and Flair with that coveted P10 spot.
Yeah, you can see what Cops was trying there. He was hoping that Desi would obviously take the racing line, go out wide to the left, and then he would dive up the inside. But of course, Desi, he's not a beginner. He's been here before, and he defended that inside line nicely and held on those 19-lap-old wets, Chief, to hold on to the P8. But what a drive from Dan the man. And I'm going to tell him, I told you so. I just had a feeling Dan had it. He's been unlucky a couple of races. Of course, he will say that it was his own fault. And was it Vegas or Saudi when he had that interesting collision with the safety car? But alas, he continues on, moves on, puts that behind him, and he takes the win in Hungary.
There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, I'm looking at the Driver Championship. Heading into this race, he was in P5 with 34 points. Adesi was in P1 with 64. That's a full haul of points for Danny. 25 points. That'll jump him up the order nicely, as there was a few drivers there in the championship running that have struggled here today, Adesi being one of them. So very interested to see how that affects the results heading into the next race. So Danica really needed that to keep his championship hopes alive. So, and I have to say, there's something about Danny and Hungary. Do you remember that? Well, you were in the race. Remember that race, the infamous race? I think it was season 10 or 11, where it got wet at the end, and a lot of people stayed out on the dry tires, but the likes of yourself and Danny went for the wet tires, and we had an amazing finale, which Danny won that race from pretty far back on the last 2 laps of the race. Yes.
I do remember.
Yeah.
I was Danny's teammate, and
right,
we
yeah.
planned that. We didn't plan it, obviously, to wet, but rain, but we planned to stick on these. He told me that he was screaming in chat, pit, pit, pit. And yeah, that was just a great experience. But I've had mixed feelings with Dan's, because I've had that great experience with Dan as a teammate in Hungary doing that wet strategy. But then the season before that, I kind of killed Dan. Do you remember that?
Right, yeah, I do remember that, yeah.
And I felt so crap afterwards.
Yeah. The highs and lows of league racing, yeah. But there you go. We had plenty of highs and lows today in this race. It was wet, it was dry, there were safety cars, there was lots of shenanigans. I've seen a lot of deleted message in stream chat. That's never a good time. Oh, our gamer's being timed out. That's alright, that's fine. Yeah, let's get to the interviews. There's plenty of guys I would like to speak to today, so let's see who is brave enough to join us in the commentators booth for an interview. No one. Of course.
Why was the Tug? Oh, it's because he's put Tugay as the driver of the day.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I mean, with some time to talk about our driver of the day, as we have this discussion, let's bring in Joel. But yeah, driver of the day, I was thinking, yeah, Tugay was pretty strong. Icewind as well, with that penalty, and some nice moves from him today, although some of them didn't work out quite as he probably hoped. But P4 in the end for him. Great finish. Yeah, so I mean, for me, Tugay or Icewind, so I'll let you decide, Bob.
Don't put me on the spot. Let's just talk to Joel first.
Yeah, Joel, I mean, you had an amazing race today. It looked like terrible conditions. There were some points where you looked like you were doing all right, and there were points where you didn't. Do you want to tell us about your race? Like, how was it out there? It looked like the wet conditions weren't fun at all.
It wasn't fun, but it gave me an opportunity to sort of gain some free positions, which you never say no to.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really difficult, especially the last 5 laps. I was drifting and sliding everywhere, and ever so, if you're a tiny bit harsh on the brakes, you just go into a spin and start drifting through the corner, which is always a bit scary when you're in that. Yeah, I think the wets were probably faster right at the end. Once the guys on the wets actually pit, but that's what gave me some time advantage, staying on the inters whilst McKendra and Tunari on the wets. And then we were in a battle with Tunari and Tilda and Eagle Ghost and Kurt, I think, all of us, into turn 1, and I hit the back of Tunari and I got wing damage, so that obviously wasn't helpful in the last part of the race. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. P12 and best result so far, so two
And
cars away from making a mistake, and then it's points.
yeah, it looked like you had fun out there at times. Lots of battling going on. I wanted to ask you, like, obviously you get a wee bit of like of a weather forecast going into a race. So what was your, what was it telling you before the race, and what were you planning then? What were what was the plan, the tire strat for the race?
It said 30 minutes into the race it would start raining, so it was obviously a lot quicker than that. That's why quite a few people started on the hards. I went on the mediums because I thought they could last anyway after watching Tier 3 and Finzik take them however long, 28 laps or something.
Hmm.
But yeah, it came a lot earlier than we all expected. We didn't expect it to stay for so long. We thought it was going to dry up at the end, but obviously it got worse.
Yeah, so difficult to predict what the weather is doing. So I mean, if you were to run it back, what kind of tire strat would you go for then? Just straight on the
I
enders?
would, yeah, I would do medium to inters, but I would have pit for inters a lap earlier than I did.
Right.
But other than that, I'd keep it the same.
Okay. Well, no points today, but you did finish and you did have some tasty battles. We caught some of them on stream, so yeah. GG, and look forward to seeing how you get on in the following races. I got USA next. It's the other USA one. What do you call it? Austin. Are you, are you,
Texas.
are you a fan of
What
that
is
one?
it? Brazil. It's Brazil next.
Is it? Okay, there you go. And never mind. I'm just gonna throw you out. Like, let's move on. How are your chances at Brazil then? You reckon you'll do well there?
I don't know. It's another track I've not raced before with no assists, so we'll see how it goes on the day. It'll be alright on the night.
Yeah. Well, that's the spirit. Put a bit of practice in. That'll help for sure. Allegedly. Or don't.
Mm.
Bye.
Bye.
Right, anyway, let's get serious. Danny Co is going to join us right now. We've yoinked him in. Danny Co, he's in the house. Danny Co, second race win of the season. The first guy to do it twice this season. You won in Imola and you won today. How do you feel?
Quite happy. It was a tough race, really. That first stint, mega start to jump to P2 realistically, and then my tyres started overheating on the mediums, hence why I kind of let a Desi past, but didn't fight it as hard.
Yeah.
Then what happened then? Oh, it
Safety car.
switched to no? Have it switched to wets, didn't it first?
Oh yeah.
Then I got past Desi straight after that, and then the safety car came out, and I had a 3-second time penalty. So I thought fresh inters to the wets potentially over old inters and slowing up.
Yeah.
Because if they stayed out, I could either overtake them and build a gap for the 3 seconds or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, that seemed to be the real crucial point of the race, like the turning point, because likes of a Desi then, who was up there with you, looking like he definitely could have won the race. He went for wets, and you went for fresh inters, and that looked like that was the right call. You're obviously then able to make those, even though other guys stayed out, their inters were like 4 or 5 laps older than yours, but the inters that you had, those fresh ones, just seemed to be the tire you had to be on for the pace, and you were able to stretch out a lead then, and obviously Justin got into P2, but it was, even at that point, Justin was falling off you, so it looked like you just controlled this race from that point onwards.
Phew, towards the last 7 or so laps, yes, I was controlling it just to make sure no mistakes or anything, but they still crept in for some reason because I'm god awful. But it was more of a task to build up a gap to the wet runners in case I did have to pit, but I just didn't have to for some reason because of the game not switching.
Interesting, yeah. Well, I mean, great race. I mean, we saw lots of battling behind you, but once that played out and you were on those inters, you just tore it off up the road. I mean, were you kind of concerned that Justin had somehow got into P2 behind you, even though he had that penalty?
When he first got behind, he didn't have it, so I was worried that I'd used my tyres too early and he would probably close up, but as soon as he got the pen, I was like a bit more relieved, and then I saw the gap like either maintaining or it opened up, so I was like, we good. But then I saw Tug or Tugay or however you say his name. I'm British, I don't know how.
British.
But if you've not given him driver of the day, then I don't know who you've given it to. I think he did one hell of a race to get P2 from all that carnage that
Yeah,
happened.
yeah, because he pitted after lap 1 for front wing change with McKender.
Exactly.
And McKender ended up P7, but yeah, I think they actually double stacked in the pits at the end of lap 1, and that might have caused a bit of a gap between them. But yeah, excellent drive from him. I've been informed it's Brazil next race, not Austin, Texas.
Oh.
How do you feel about Brazil then, Danny?
Well, I think it'd be once again like here, really. Not so good in qualifying, and then hopefully the race would be better in a way. That's all
Okay.
I can really say
Well,
because I don't have quali pace.
can I just comment on Dan's race? Of course, he owes me a tenner.
What?
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 You owe me a tenner. I told you were going to win. Whenever Mystic Bob calls it, it happens. All right. Anyway,
Didn't agree, no tenner.
well, I'm telling you, you did live on stream. So anyway, it was a fantastic performance from Dan, as we were come to expect, and I definitely think that the move at the start to get P2 was a big, helpful moment for you. That's a nice English for you to get there. But I honestly believe the biggest, most stressful time for you in that race, which you managed to overcome, was following behind the safety car.
Ah, you.
Because you managed to navigate that really well, and after that, the rest of it was just easy work for you, Dan. So well done.
Do you know what it was? I didn't have to overtake it this week.
That's the thing. That's the thing. You see,
That's the key factor.
he got out of the way quicker this time for you.
I just beat him out.
But no, seriously, great job, man. I mean, whenever the safety car came in, you just there wasn't after the safety car. What was it? Justin was in the P2. I think he got up to P2, and by that stage, you were 8 seconds ahead, and then he just could not do anything to chip away at that gap that you had, and it went from 8 to 9 to 10. I think it was almost touching 11. So
It got to 13 in the end.
Yeah. So you made the inters work. Me and Chief were quite surprised because it really did look like wet conditions, and the wet guy, they just did not switch on for the wet guys. I don't know why.
I figured I don't know their situation, but my guess would be the wets wore a bit more when it was like into conditions. Then they just couldn't switch on when it switched to wets, because apparently at some point we was just doing the same times roughly.
Well, actually, one thing popped into my head. What were you thinking, Dan, whenever you had made it into P2, and you seen Tino just, of course, he had softs on naturally, but he was just checking out ahead. Were you thinking that he might run away with it, or did you kind of know that it was going to turn wet and it could, opportunities could come?
Well, I knew it was going to turn wet, but I was expecting Tino to start falling back to me on like lap 6 or something, because he got to like a 3-second gap, and I'm like, I've seen this before. People build that 3-second gap, and then it starts to close back towards the medium runner. It didn't, so I was like, oh. But then he pitted very early, which I think was a mistake, because was literally only a few more lap, and then it switched.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know what happened. I think he spun.
Yeah, it was the the hairpin, the final hairpin before the final corner. We didn't see it, but going by where his car was positioned on track, it looks like that he spun on traction on the exit and hit the barrier and lost his wing. But his car moved. The thing is, his car it started to move again and then stopped in DNF. So we're not sure. We're not sure whether it was a
Bit of a bug.
tire on track. We're not sure or not, but we'll see.
We shall.
But I'm finished with Dan now, Chief. You can discard him like a used tissue.
I thought you were going to say something else then.
Family friendly, Chief.
We're always family friendly. We never say anything that's...
Sure.
Anyway, Danny, pleasure to speak to you, man. On GG in the win. Impressive, as always. And we'll speak to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Okay, with Icewind in chat as well. Or actually, Tugay. We'll bring Tugay first, maybe?
If you want.
Yeah. With an impressive drive, P2 in the end. Tugay, you had a really bad start to the race. Do you want to just tell us about that incident and then about the recovery to P2 some way, somehow?
All right. At the start, no, I slowed down very early, and that really caught me off guard, and I smashed in the back of him. Fortunately, not causing him damage, but really my mistake, to be honest, at the start. And then the safety car really helped, and I had very good restart from P14, as the guys with full wets were really struggling. And it was for sure my best race ever pace-wise, and without the first lap misjudgment.
Yeah, what happened there? That turn one or that lap one incident?
So Noah was really cautious in the turn one, and I tapped him in the back.
Oh dear, and that was enough for front wing damage. And then there was a double stack as well when McKender had an issue. And at that point it just seemed like your race was over, because after that you guys were like 30-40 seconds off the lead or off the the next guy up the field. So that must have been pretty demoralizing. But as you know, league racing, stick with it. You never know what's going to happen. And amazing return back to P2. I think Tipsy, we've been asked about driver of the day. I think it's going to be you, Tugay, based on that recovery drive from you. So fair play to you.
Thank you.
Yep. And you're both in tier 1 and tier 2, aren't you?
Yep.
So how is that going with the 2 races per week? Is it tier 2 like a warm up for tier 1, or are you just taking each race as it comes?
It's for sure it's practice, but I seem to be struggling in tier 2 more. I don't know why, but yeah.
It's all those dirty assist drivers in the pub.
What's that, sorry?
I'm just giving off about the dirty assist drivers in tier 2.
Oh, I know, it's a flip stick. No, don't get me started.
But yeah, Tugay, driver of the day performance, fastest lap as well, I believe. And I mean, there's not much else to say. Great drive from you. Hope to see more of that in the future.
Yep.
And we will speak soon. Adios.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, and we're going to get to Icewind now. So, Icewind, I'll keep it short, but yeah, you didn't have the best starts to the race, it has to be said. But you just seemed to be in like a different level today. You weren't taking any prisoners. Sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't, but that's the way it goes. You got yourself up to P4 in the end, though. Just give us a quick run over of your race and how it was for you.
We'll see if I lose a position, because I tapped Janab around there. I had so much better tires at that point and just slightly locked up and hit him, so sorry about that. I've already reported myself about that, so yeah. I think outside of that cock up and killing him, my strategy worked out better than most people today. A lot of guys gambled for the wets and they never kind of panned out for them. I pitted for fresh inters during that safety car, which definitely was the best call for me. And I had, let's say, better than average pace in that race, I would say. I seemed to be a little bit faster than Justin, but for example, Tugay, who was just on a level of his own in my opinion, in pace wise, like maybe with Danny or something. But he just blasted off into the distance like 1.5 seconds a lap when he got past me, and yeah, I drifted like what was I, like 13 seconds behind him at the end there. But yeah, I was still catching Justin, so I guess it wasn't all bad. Yeah, that's about it. Quali was pretty much matching my PB from PSGL, so yeah, about as good as it gets for me. And then I had a bunch of battles in the race with I can't even remember who, like Noah, the new Finnish guy, but from LOR, that guy.
Yeah.
With Fox, with Copy, and I think there was a little bit of wheel banging with a bunch of people in the race, but yeah, it was sort of just trying to get some kind of a result, and yeah, apparently to be able to be faster than McKender or Daisy, I just have to have the right tires, and they have to have the wrong ones. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that you pointed out there obviously about when you pitted onto the safety car for those fresh enters, even though there's only 4 or 5 laps difference between the old enter runners and the likes of yourself, that seemed to be crucial. I mean, the amount of pace and grip that you guys seem to have then, as you know, as demonstrated whenever you're doing all those overtakes.
Yep. I don't know if people are just stubborn and don't sort of want to admit it, but fresh tires versus somebody who has, like, let's say 20 or 25% on the tires, the difference is insane, and I think it's even more pronounced on inters. And yeah, I don't really know if there's anything else to say about that, but just I just knew that's gonna be the best call for me, because I could pit without losing a single position at that point, so obviously I did it.
Yeah, it definitely worked out for you. And you know, it has to be said, like, you know, if you have 4 or 5 lap younger tires than someone, like, that's not going to change, you know, even though you're doing more laps, they're doing more laps as well. So
it gets like a little bit more close after I hit that 25% as well. But like the first 5 laps I get on them, I think there's like 2-3 seconds a lap faster on those laps. So yeah, so I guess P4 or whatever I get after that penalty is acceptable for today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from our point of view, it was great drive from you. I mean, I know that it didn't work out every time you went for that overtake, especially I'm thinking of that chicane incident in particular. But I mean, sometimes you just have to risk it.
That was just my own bad. I just kind of
yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think it was my own bad anyway. But it just maybe Fox kind of turned on a bit, and I didn't really have a chance to turn into the corner before I was already hit from the side. But I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't really care.
Yeah. Well, P4 in the end, so well, that tells us all we need to know. And great.
Definitely not on pace, but you know, right strategy calls today. So.
Yeah. Yep. Sometimes that's all you need, isn't it? Icewind, thanks for joining us in the commentators. We're going to move on. We've got one more to go.
Thank you.
And we'll speak to you soon. Okay.
Bye.
Yeah, so we've got one last guy in the commentators interview channel, just waiting to be interviewed. Very patient, Meepo.
Yes.
Yeah, wanted to speak to you about your race. Didn't pan out as you planned, I'm sure. I know there was a big issue, or a big incident rather, with you and Justin. Do you want to just tell us about your point of view on that?
Well, Justin just sent me there. I had no space there, of course. My region was a bit stupid. I can say that, but like, yeah. But I think that sending in a small chicane, that's pretty dumb, in my honest opinion. So like, you know.
So yeah, I mean, you look pretty pacey out there. How was your pace in the, you know, when it got wet then? Were you struggling, or were you relishing the conditions?
I don't know. What winter rain came in? I forgot.
I don't know.
Was it after the safety car or before the safety car?
Before, yeah, before.
Okay, I felt like I had no pace there. No.
Yeah, I think it started raining around about lap 13, 14, and then yeah, not long after we had the safety car about 4 or 5 laps after the rain had started.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I felt I felt like I had no pace there, like barely catching Tunari and Adec and Danny were already in the distance when I was in the Inters, and I made few mistakes, so that does not help me at all in there.
yeah, and another thing is the fact that you went for wets. You're one of the drivers who went for the wets. Looking back, obviously hindsight's a great thing. You can say maybe that wasn't the best decision. But it did look like it was terrible. Like, I mean, it was just getting wetter and wetter. So I mean, I think, tough call. What was Jeff telling you? Like, was Jeff telling you it's about to get heavy rain or what? Or
I mean, Jeff told me that it was gonna get heavier terrain, so I was like, I don't know if I want to stay on the Inters or like bid for wets. So at first I was okay, maybe I want to go in the wets. Then I decided so many times in my head, what if I go in the Inters so I can create a gap in case Danny and others bid in front of me. But when the pits came, I saw everyone else bid. I was like, okay, I have to bid now. There's too much in the risk. And then I saw Danny and Justin take the Inters, and I was like, oh great, this is not gonna go well.
yeah,
And so
but Desi took wets as well. So was that not like comforting? Maybe that.
yeah, and Tunari took wets too. So like it was comforting until the Inters were faster, like the whole race, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was very tough. Tough calls made out there today. It didn't work out your way today, but we're looking to see Meepo come back. You have won in Tier 1 last season, didn't you?
I have not won a single time.
Oh, okay, right. No, I'm thinking of Tenari, sorry. Yeah, so what do you think? Is this season the one you're going to get a win in Tier 1, or what do you reckon?
Looking at the five races and 3 I have driven, I have 3 DNS, so I don't know. Not going well.
Yeah, about that. I mean, all you have to do, right, is be faster than everyone else, get the right tire strategy, don't hit the wall, and don't make any mistakes in the pits or on the track, or get track warnings, or
Oh, sorry, I didn't think of that. So thank you. This opened
yeah,
my third, but
yeah.
that opened my third eye.
I think you're
Insane.
gonna win the next race now, aren't you? Was that?
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to win Brazil. It's awful track.
Yeah. Well, imagine that's the one you win now, and you'll be like, damn.
Yeah. Well, a win is a win, I guess. Even whatever the track is. Even if it's a bad track for me, I'll happily take the win. Because it's a bad track.
Yeah,
For me,
well,
you know?
I mean, I definitely can see a Meepo win coming some point. I don't know if it's this season or next season, but it's definitely on the table anyway.
Who knows? Only I know.
Anyway, right. Well, that's it. Thanks for talking to us, Meepo. We'll speak to you again soon, I'm sure. And yeah, good luck
Yeah.
on that bid for the first race win in Tier 1.
Thank you.
So, yeah, bye bye.
Bye bye.
All that is left to be said is, what is left to be said?
Is that like goodbye from him and goodbye from you or something like that?
Well, I just wanted to bring one more guy in. I'm gonna bring in Janab. Janab, I've yoinked you in. I know you're not wanting an interview, but I just want to say you're definitely the best Haas driver, as was proved today. P5, man, that was amazing. Great stuff. Bye. And that's it. I think we're gonna wrap up the stream there. Tier 1 race is in the bag. Hungary, it's over. We've done it. We've completed it. We've got the badge. Bob, any final thoughts?
No.
Great. Bye. No, we'll be back next week. Thanks everybody for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will be back next week. We're going to Brazil. And yeah.
Wait, hang on. Is it really Brazil or is it not just
It actually is Brazil, yeah.
Is it really? No, seriously, is it?
It
over
actually
there?
is, yeah. I
I
checked.
thought it was. I thought okay. I thought it was going to be Texas, Austin.
Yeah, apparently, yeah, I don't know what happened there. Like, I am league admin, I should know this stuff, but
Oh, you're right. Brazil and then Texas,
yeah, man.
and then Singapore. Love
Yeah,
Singapore.
and Japan at the final race, bro. We're getting
Before
spoiled
the
this
Christmas
season.
break.
We are definitely getting spoiled. Um, yeah, so, yeah, that's it. We'll wrap it up there for now. Tier 3, 2, and 1. Back next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tune in. Join the Discord if you want to get a taste of the action. You can actually drive in this league if you can prove yourself worthy, as in you don't kill people every second. But that's it. I think I'm running out of brain power here, so I will end the stream and I will say a final thank you and a final goodbye from me and a goodbye from him.
Goodbye.